Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, National Anti-Ice Brown / Whiteout. January 30th, 2026. But centuries of anti-Black American terrorism, well, I'm like this. When I sit there and read about this story, I'm like looking at this like this. Because it was just an outright insultingness, right? It's an insultingness that it is relayed to over toward millions of Black Americans, with few exceptions that see through these tactics of these blatant anti-Black American terrorism tactics, right? And it's almost like this as well. It's not almost nothing. It is like this as well. Because this is what they're doing to millions of Black Americans, again, with few exceptions, who don't even realize the trainedness of the pro-border breaker illegal immigrant immigration infiltration groups in entities across in various sections of agendas across the U.S., right? This is what's happening. They want infiltration of more border break illegal immigrants. They want more infiltration of immigration type entities. They certainly want more immigration tethered topics versions, right? To take over in various parts of politicalness in colleges, businesses. These people are brilliant, right? Because they know most Black Americans, with few exceptions, are not seeing what's happening, right? But let me go ahead and share my screen to go ahead and start this, because this is not going to be a long show whatsoever. But what I want you to do, asking you to do, keep this in mind, because this is not about just right now. Today is January 29th, 2026. The National Anti-Ice Brown / Whiteout is supposed to be tomorrow on Friday, January 3rd, 2026. Now, what I want to ask you to keep this in mind. This is what they want people to protect, especially the Black Americans, to not see through these tactics, right? Give me a second. Let me sit there and show you something here. Oh, wrong one. Hit the wrong button. Let me sit there and show you something. Yeah, what I want to show you first. What do I want to show? Oh, I want to show you this first.
All right, tonight, investigators, they're looking into why an undocumented immigrant had an assault rifle and this large stash of drugs inside an emergency family shelter. NBC 10's Malcolm Johnson joining us live from Revere with more on who federal investigators say is behind the gun and drug charges, Malcolm.
Well, investigators say the suspect illegally entered the country last year, JC, but they don't know where or when. And they say that he'd been staying here at this hotel turned emergency shelter, allegedly with guns and over 200 grams of drugs in his possession.
But they want millions of American Blacks to just pretend there is no epidemic of border break illegal immigrants, no epidemic of infiltration by quite a number of immigration type personnel. Not quite epidemic, but a agenda to get more tethers, right? To flee from their places of origin and have the nerve to talk about Black Americans, but they can't fix their own tribalism and corruption problems. Oh, this system is a brilliant system, right? But let's continue.
On December 17th, 2024, Revere police responded to a call from this Morris Street Quality Inn.
When they arrived there, they learned of a gentleman up in a room on the third floor. They may have in his possession an assault rifle.
An assault rifle, fentanyl worth over $1 million, bricks of cocaine, and smaller amounts for sale are what investigators found on the third floor in the room of 28-year-old Leonardo Andujar Santos.
But this is what they want people to protect and protest. The insulting of that, assaulting this of this. And they know also there is a few sprinkling of gullible numbers of Black Americans. They know already that's probably going to be trying to jump on board about this, which is ignorant itself. But they know there's gigantic, a lot more personnel within the Paname's culture and white adjacent and some other people who have their own agendas and laugh at the ones within certain parts of Paname's culture who are very naive to sitting there understand they're sitting there throwing their own selves into the mouth of piranhas and helping out border break illegal immigrants who don't give a damn about them, who they could even break immigration laws and pull this stuff out in the same places that they are fleeing from themselves. You see how this game goes, right? But at the same time, you have some of the same numbers of Anglo type person that one supplies to. What about reparations for Black Americans? I ain't got anything to do with slavery. But they have no problem with trying to protect border break illegal immigrants. You see how this game goes, right? But let's continue. Let me just kind of go fast forward a little bit. I want to get to a point here.
For criminal activity in EA says there is zero tolerance for criminal activity in EA shelters. We took immediate action to terminate this individual from the EA system, and we confirmed with federal immigration officials that they have lodged a detainer. Revere City Councilor Juan Jaramillo says this is an isolated incident.
Right? The Department of Justice has run a study on crimes and immigration, and overwhelmingly, documented and even undocumented immigrants commit much less crime than U.S.-born citizens.
You see what this fool did. See, this is also what is exactly what is going on, right? However, pro border break illegal immigrant, be it he is from a product of border break illegal immigrants, parent to parents, be it however immigration, however him. I don't give a damn about him personally, but the oral that he's doing, you see what he's saying? Right? Oh, it don't matter. Oh, it's not about basically violence. What are you talking about? What do you think about scamming? Right? I've done shows already about non-violent border break illegal immigrants, immigration personnel that outright lied and scammed, right? But I guess they ain't got anything to do with nothing, right? But then you have the same person, oh, Black Americans did the same thing. Would you say the same thing? He don't give a damn. Like how many person who think just like him, right? I'm trying to tell you, man, this is some real stuff right here. Let me sit there and share my screen as well before I get into the other part, what I want to show. I want to sit there and show you something. Give me one moment. I should want to do this right here. I'm setting the direction up. Make sure you can see this. Okay. Now, hold on. I'll finish here. Now, look at this for a second. Look at on this channel. All right. Illegal Immigration Topics channel. I want you now to keep this in mind. What I'm about to show you in just a few minutes about the article and some other things relating to that national anti-ICE brown /whiteout, right? Tomorrow on January 30th, 2026 on Friday. Now, today is Thursday, January 29th, 2026. Now, look at this for a second. Illegal Immigration Topics channel, right? If anybody's interested, there's quite a number of good videos on here. All together word, Illegal Immigration Topics channel. So if you're interested, consider thinking about it. Maybe you're subscribing. If you don't, that's fine. If you just want to just take a look at a few videos, that's fine. Either way. But look at this. This Afghanistani illegal immigrant tried to unalive attempted murder of his sister, right? This illegal immigrant caused major head-on collision. Imagine, I forgot what that is, the other part to it. Anyway, sanctuary cities, agenda, insulting, protecting border breakers. Drunk driver, illegal immigrant takes multiple lives in a crash. Illegal immigrant so violent, his own native country would not take him back. These high-tech illegal immigrants, burglary, theft. A Belgian man, illegal immigrant, arrested for child exploitation. 3 murderous illegal immigrants charged with a shooting, right? Like that. A Georgia Hispanic woman tried to smuggle illegal firearms across the border. Georgia, talking about Georgia, an Eastern European country. 2 illegal immigrant Mexicans committed violent and child predator child predator criminality. Salvadorian illegal immigration attacked a border patrol agent. Oh, let's see that again. A Salvadorian illegal immigration attacked a border patrol agent. That was many months before Renee Good and they Pretty got, right? Oh, you hear no national outrage at that, did you? 6 illegal immigrants involving murderers of this woman. By the way, she was a woman in a store robbery. I think she was a black woman, right? On this situation. This grocery store manager, not Dr. Spock, that was just an image, hired many illegal immigrants over years. 4 illegal immigrants deported from a northern Texas city. 100 border breakers caught in the Denver nightclub. ICE deports murderous illegal immigrant broke immigration laws. But this is what they want to sit there and protect. Do you not understand the insultingness of the tactic that they are playing, right? But at the same time, they do this.
Nothing. I know nothing.
You see the insulting of this, right? Because they want more of this too. Yes, they want more of this. Now, you imagine, you think Black Americans can break immigration laws in these various type places that these people are fleeing from and stuff like that, and numbers of Anglo people trying to protect them and stuff like that, don't even know they're drowning themselves? That these legal immigrant personnel, these various types of immigration groups, entities, etc., don't give a damn about numbers of Anglo personnel. And you say you got numbers of Anglo personnel that are sitting there throwing themselves into the piranha's mouth. But numbers of them have their own type of bias agenda for them as well. If it came down to sit there saying, look, are we going to sit there and help Black Americans who have been the foundation of America? And look how many of us treat Black Americans, right? Or are we going to sit there and help border break illegal immigrants and immigration personnel to bypass them? Do you understand what they would do? They're like, we're going to help border break illegal immigrant personnel. We're going to help immigration personnel, etc. You see how that goes, right? But they know that many within American Blackism, right, with very few exceptions, don't even have no clue what's happening right now, right? So let me go ahead and share the screen because this is extremely important on this part. So this is where the bread and butter of what I'm relating to this topic on this situation. All right. So also make sure you can see this on it, on that. And I do this as a timepiece purpose, right? Because we shall see what's going to happen tomorrow, right? On it, 2 or 3 months down the road, somebody comes across this, whatever it is, 8 months, 2 years, whatever it is, 10 years, whatever, right? Now, just you can see this. Business Insider, no work, no school. You can see this, okay? No work, no school, no shopping. A general strike to protest ICE is attempting to go national. And by the way, what they are doing is, again, how many times? See, unfortunately, sometimes or many times there are Black Americans that open their mouths up on the internet and YouTube, open their mouths up. Well, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do, and this and all. And these people sitting there writing down stuff or on the computer saying, okay, oh, those stupid Negroes, they're doing this and doing that, and we're going to copy what they're doing. Oh, they're doing marching, right? We're going to sit back, we'll sit there and find out how they're doing certain things all these darn years, right? We're talking about reality. See, it's stupid or idiotic to sit there and protect border break illegal immigrants, protect immigration type groups, entities who don't give a damn about Black Americans whatsoever, right? I'm not talking about the gullible, naive type ones, right? But these people have to sit there and watch what Black Americans have been doing for a long time in protesting and marching. And have you noticed how this is what they're copying and using, right? When Black Americans have been marching and protesting for a long time to be treated as citizens, being citizens, because not one Black American is an immigrant. Do you understand that? Well, I'm telling you, these games these people are playing, man. Nationwide activists are calling for economic blackout. Economic brown/whiteout on January 3rd, 2026 to protest ICE activity. Celebrities, including whatever irrelevant and however person irrelevant, have posted on social media about the strike. It's an expansion of Minnesota's ICE out protest on January 23rd. On that. Last Friday, Minnesota business, however, personnel wasn't open for business. open for purchase. They were not. But it did invite customers in to hang out with cats and find community as part of a statewide economic blackout to protest ramped up ICE actions. They do not want any type of immigration enforcement. Let me repeat this again. They want none. You understand? They want none. They want just pure open borders, period. Beyond end of story. They want people to break immigration laws left and right. They want people to pop in America anytime they want. People to use birth tourism. Oh, they don't talk about that. Where they come from different countries, falsified ways of getting visas, come over here, bam, 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 pop out kids, automatic citizenship off the 14th Amendment of the Constitution that was supposed to be for Black Americans in around the 1868 time frame, right? When Black Americans were still being treated as non-citizens, right? And they supposed to be citizens, which is after 1776, right? Which is the American Revolution, which was the Constitution, right? But in this July, it's supposed to be a celebration of 260 years of independence from the Britishers. Do you see how insulting this system is? 1776, where's all the border break illegal immigrants at? Please, I don't think so. Where's all the immigration groups at? I don't think so. So Black Americans were the foundation still in 1776 in America. This game, boy, it's not even a game. It's infantile level tactics. But they don't want to talk about that part. They don't want to talk about, my goodness, look at Black Americans been going through for centuries. Look how they've been treated. Because they don't care, right? They want to bypass Black Americans, right? They want to rid numbers of Black Americans and politicalness, rid them as many places as they possible because they want this country immigrationized. They want this country more border breakerized. Do you understand? This is an epidemic, people, and they know millions of Black Americans don't even understand, with few exceptions. Actor, whatever this person's name, shared a graphic of Alex Pretty and Renee Good, the two Minnesotans shot by federal ICE agents, that says, pretty good, reason for a national strike and posting in support of a larger strike on the 3rd of January, 2026. Also, I did a podcast relating to Renee Good, right? And her rough-looking, masculine aura wife, who herself said that she knew that she was basically an instigator of having her wife to come down there, which he said, or her wife per se didn't really want to come. Please, her wife was involved in pro-ICE activities also, and her masculine-looking wife, masculine wife, who didn't give a damn about border. They didn't give a damn about the Anti Black American Terrorism that's been going on. You like, where were y'all at when George Floyd, huh? Did you call Congress? Did you sit there and get with our organization to say you want to have a national whiteout in protesting these bad seed enforcements that continue to keep doing stuff for Anti-Black American terrorism for centuries? Nope, they don't give a damn. Right? So let me stop this because but when we sit there and show this reality, again, you show this kind of reality, they're like, well,
I know nothing.
Right? They know nothing.
Nothing. I know nothing.
See how that goes, right? This last particular article. Hold on for it. Where is that article at? Give me one moment. Here we go. Now look at this. The main type of article. Make sure you can see this. January 30th to 2026. Make sure everything right. All right. Friday, January 3rd, 2026. National shutdown, right? Friday, January 3rd, 2026. National shutdown. No work, no funding, no shopping, no funding ICE. Do you understand? This is already insulting. Nobody comes close to the numbers of bad sheets that have done bad things to Black Americans for centuries, starting with slave patrols, right? Still hundreds of years ago, right? And you got these people want to protect border breaker illegal immigrants. You got these people that want to protect immigrationist entities, right? They don't want nothing to do with Black Americans, nothing. They don't want no restorative justice. They want nothing. See, these people, they're not smart. No, supremacists are smart, but these people are just cuckoos in their mentality. These are some of the first personnel. Again, we start talking about reparations for Black Americans. I ain't got anything to do with slavery. But if you bring up, did you have anything to do with Native Americans? Huh? Did you have anything to do with Trail of Tears? That was about 200-something years ago. I ain't got anything to do with that. Well, billions and billions and billions of resources are going to what we call Native Americans. What about that? What about the white Native Americans? We want to call it that. Makes no sense, but that's where reality as well. What about the numbers of Anglo personnel who put themselves on certain type of roles called like correspondence, right? And they sit there and paid a few dollars to be called Native Americans. What about that? How many of them getting reparations? Fake reparations. What are you gonna do about that? They quiet. Because how many of them benefit off that? You say this stuff goes, man. Enough is enough. The people of the Twin Cities have shown the way for the whole country to do what? Stop anti-Black Americanism, hatred? That's been going for centuries? Of course not. To stop ICE, reign of terror. But by the way, ICE was not even formed to, I think, what, 2002, 2003? Huh? So what about all this other time from 2002, 2003 to 2026? What blazing anti-American Black hatred by numbers of bad seed type personnel? What about that? These people, I'm telling you, man, these people are beyond weird. Let me go back. The people of the Twin Cities have shown the way for the whole country to stop ISIS reign of terror. We need to shut it down. On Friday, January 30th, 2026, join a nationwide day of no school, no work, and no shopping. The entire country is shocked and outraged at the brutal unallowance of Alex Pretty, Renee Good, whatever, Gonzalez, and Keith Porter Jr. I'm going to get back to that, by federal agents. Hold on. While Trump and other right-wing politicians are slandering them as terrorists, the video evidence makes it clear beyond all doubt they were gunned down in broad daylight simply for exercising their First Amendment right to protest mass deportation. Man, I'm telling you, I find this extremely hard, disgusting, and despicable. See, Keith Porter, a Black American man out of one of the places in California, who was not protesting pro-border breaker illegal immigrant activities. It was what, New Year's Eve, I think it was, how he had his whatever AR, whatever, or some similar rifle thing, and he was sitting there shooting an arrow. How many numbers of Hispanics and certainly how many of Anglos and higher personnel were shooting in the sky? I mean, shooting in the sky to celebrate, I guess, going into New Year's, right? And people are quiet. How many people are quiet on that? What's the point you're making? Well, Keith Porter, it was said that as he was shooting in the sky and stuff like that, that there was an off-duty ICE agent in the same whatever complex, wherever it is. He came out and supposed to identify himself, supposedly, right? And told them to whatever stop. And then the allegation was that Keith Porter, right, Black American man with this AR, is going to sit there and aim his rifle at the ICE agent and fire several times. And then return the ICE agent, which is probably not going to be at all Black American, probably going to be a people of color or a minority, Anglo-ized, white Hispanic personnel, most likely on this, one of the two. And he shot back and unalived the Black American man. But witnesses were saying there is no freaking way. What they looking at was he was not pointing nowhere at that ICE officer, right? But you see in how they worded on this situation, the disgusting way they try to word it was that when they were saying like Keith Porter about, they talking about the when they added Keith Porter on this and said and other right wingers are slandering them as terrorists. The video evidence makes it clear beyond all doubt they were gunned down in broad daylight simply for exercising their First Amendment right to protest mass deportation. And that had nothing to do with what Keith Porter was doing. I find it extremely high. I mean, astronomical. I find how offensive that these people, these piece of shit people, try to use Keith Porter as how many times they try to use Black Americans in their little disgusting black and brown mythological game plan when you got Black people that have brown skin, right? And there's loads of videos that people still haven't seen. I've showed some videos myself on my own channel, The Real CP Show, that's shown this blatant anti-Black Americanism, hatred, even by various types of Hispanics and white Hispanic versions, right? They don't talk about that. In LA City Council, a few years ago, she was the president of one of the LA City Councils with her own little millionistic white Hispanics, and they were blatantly talking anti-Black American racism, right? I did another show at one of the schools in California where you had some kids out there, Hispanic kids, that were jumping on this Black young male and stuff like that. And he was trying to protect himself, and one of them had a knife and tried to juke the Black child. The Black child, whatever reason, got the knife, glad he got it, and then whatever happened, and then they sit there and basically arrested the Black child. Man, I'm trying to tell you, unfortunately, there is quite a number of Black Americans that are very naive to not seeing what's going on. It don't matter. You can try around 13,000 times around this world. It don't matter. That's individual. It's about collectiveness, right? It don't matter. Numbers of Black Americans have businesses, houses, doing a thing. That's individual. What they're doing is insulting Black Americans as a collective. What part of some people don't get it through their skulls, right? When Hispanics do their stuff, they do it as a collective. Even though white Hispanicism, there is no pan-Hispanicism because that's Afro-Hispanics. There's many types of Hispanics, right? Hispanic is just a word of saying speaking Spanish, right? But when it comes down to white Hispanicism, they are blatantly going to be anti-Black American. They are anti-Black in their own different countries, to their own people of Blackness in their own countries, right? You understand this goes. And they know some of a few Black Americans that see through these tactics. It is time for us to stand all together in a nationwide shutdown and say enough is enough. Nationwide national shutdown, January 3rd, 2026. The people of the 20, I'm not going to see that already. Well, to stop ISIS's reign of terror, we need to shut it down on Friday, January 3rd, 2026. Join a nationwide day of no school, no work, no shopping. Vote no to ICE funding. Nothing about what are we going to do about the bad seeds that are attacking and brutalizing Black Americans on a daily basis. Nope. I'm telling you, this is disgusting, man. Then it said endorsed by, look at this. Look at all these people. Somali Student Association. Oh, and let's not get this started. I did a podcast on that. You know what? I don't want to see no more of that. I'm done with that. You get the point. I don't even waste my time looking at that no more. So the thing about it is, again, I'm like this. The insulting part of this. That's the insulting part. Well, the extra insulting part, right? But let me sit there and share my screen. What I was saying that I also did, hold on, Minnesota. Yeah, this is what I did a podcast on not too long ago. We're talking about Minnesota's major Somali day care fraud. Many do they Black basically when it's convenient. A daycare without kids. More Minnesota Somali, which is primarily many of them, daycare fraud adds to 1 billion case. Right? This particular Anglo guy, right? Not all Anglos the same, by the way, even though collectively there's only very few that sit there and don't act like a collective. But those are different topics in itself. All that money, resource that's going to Somalians who only make about 1% of the population of Minnesota, but commit the most gigantic child food nutrition fraud on the biggest in America's history was committed by this particular Anglo woman, a double minority. It was a whole different topic. The progenitors of true DEI, the progenitors of affirmative action, but those different topics in itself, right? The ones it applies to. But the right-hand person and many others was Somalians, right? Home health aides, home transportation services, many fraud by many types of Somalians up there, right? This white guy, he came with the receipts. He came with correspondence left and right. Millions at this particular daycare. When they was like, hey, they was trying to say, hey, his kid, he wants to enroll his kid. One of the guys that did a documentary, a pseudo documentary with this other white guy who had the research and correspondence. Hey, he wanted to have his kid, put in one of those Somali schools. They like, no. You're like, how you gonna say? There's no kids anywhere outside, no inside. You can't see inside the building or nothing, right? Nothing. That's a safety hazard. First of all, you can't see through the building. That's a safety hazard. But they're allowed to do that. It's like somebody or some entity is allowing this little smackling of Minnesota Somalians to get away with all kind of stuff. Something is really wrong with that, right? And even the guy was sitting there showing that they specifically are saying they are about Somalians, not about Nigerians, not about Ghanaians, not about Ethiopians, not about Kenyans, not about South Africans, not about Egyptians. They don't give a damn about them. They was talking about they're about Somalis. But it's unfunny how you got people that think Black America is supposed to be taught Pan-Africanism. It's a whole different topic. But I make this point in that up in Minnesota, you got all these Somalians committing crazy virulent crime up there, the ones it applies to, getting away with it, right? They don't give a damn about no Black Americans up there. Where's all these Somali people at when George Floyd? Quiet. Where's all the organizations at? Jumping them down. Where's all the national outrage to call upon the political figures, call upon the organizations, and everybody was endorsing the same thing like I'm sitting there showing you now on that. Let me go back here. Let me go back. Oh, crap. Let me go back and reshare. On that thing where I was about to read the national shutdown. Where's all these people? I want you to just imagine all the people. Where's all the same type people that was for Black Americans on that? And don't give me that. Well, look at this right here, Black student. Get out of here. Go to hell. How many are immigrants? Black Lives Matter, grassroots Detroit. Go to hell with that game. There are some naive ones. So we're not going to play it. We're talking about collectively. So we're not going to play it. And look at all these different people. This is 99.999%. It says basically non-Black. So play that game with somebody else. And look at all these groups. See all. Look at all these. Look at all these. Where's all these people at? After George Floyd. And many other Black Americans that have been shot, unalived, brutalized by bad seed enforcement up there in various parts up there and various other places around the U.S. Where's all these same people at doing a national whiteout, national brownout for Black Americans who have been the victims of the most hatredness, right? And then these people have the nerve to talk Black Lives Matter. These freaking nerds. When it's been found out, Black Lives Matter is not some one thing, right? And when Black Lives Matter was founded, organizational-wise, it had already been talked about. People don't know that had already been infiltration with a term lifestyle category, right? It had nothing to do with the empowerment of Black Americanism. And then they found out that stuff was basically grabbed up by other types of how Black immigrants and how types of Anglo personnel. The list goes on, basically, right? On that situation. So we're not going to play that damn tactic. But you see how this little game goes, right? And it's embarrassing. Because you say, man, where's all this jumping up down for Black? That these higher places, and you see they make sure to put the B's right here so you can see that this all anyway, the Black Lives Matter part and this right here, fighting for border break illegal immigrants. This is sick. This is extremely sick. Nobody else is going to sit there and do anything like this for Black Americans. You saw these groups, people? Look at all these. That they supposedly said that they endorsed this national brown whiteout, basically for border break illegal immigrants, right? And protesting ICE. And again, let me relay this. If it wasn't the two Anglo or Anglo adjacent, especially Preti, because that's more of an Anglo adjacent, Renee Good in general, regular Anglo American. Now, I did a show topic on that too. I did a show topic on that. Let me I don't do that. That's okay. Let's go. I did a show topic on the Renee Good situation as well. All right, and the hypocrisy of that situation, the hypocrisy situation that happened with that. Now here it is, Renee Good, Anglo woman, this type of Anglo woman, and her rough-looking, masculine or wife, lesbians. How do people do it? Relationship, they do their thing. Lesbian gayness have been going on for a long time in history. So I don't even get involved in that kind of stuff. People do what they want to do. The problem is that there is an agenda to it as well. And also they utilize Black LGBTness in there as well, right? But that's a whole different topic in itself. But Renee Good was told to move a ding vehicle, right? Blocking other ICE highway enforcement people from doing their duties. And she didn't obey orders. And you didn't hear you had how many numbers of Anglo personnel acting silly to what the one applies to, right? And how many those immigration groups and entities and border break illegal immigrant, you get the point, act like they didn't see nothing, right? And then her, again, rough-looking, masculine or wife, mouthing off to the ICE agent like she was big bad, right? And she wasn't going to do a damn thing, right? And then when the officer told her door, she was speeding off and basically was about to run into this ICE agent. So what? It's like we didn't see that part. And then Prati, right? White adjacent. And by the way, that's a different topic, a different show in itself. And things are coming out and showing he wasn't no person that people think he was. But it don't matter because there's an agenda what's going on for him, right? It's an agenda, people. So ICE, this unaliving person, the person unalives a Caucasian personnel, how dare? Because as long as it's toward Black Americans, Keith Porter was unalived by a off-duty, we call ICE agent. Well, we're talking about that already. Did you hear the national outrage at that? Nope. I had read several different things where they were trying to make him the victim, trying to make him responsible, saying, well, bullets, he shouldn't be shooting in the sky. You see how that goes. But when it's Anglo personnel every year, numbers of Hispanic people, numbers of Mexicans specifically, and however the personnel shooting to the air, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, et cetera, you don't hear no outrage toward them saying y'all should be doing that. Bullets don't have no names. You see how this goes, right? But there was no national outrage for Keith Porter being alive. And there was a Black woman named Takia. I added that in the podcast about Renee Good. Takia, I don't remember her last name. She was a pregnant Black woman in this store. And they supposed to say she was grabbing some food up. Basically, she didn't pay for it and whatever it is, right? There was no, well, you know what? She's struggling. And you know what? That wasn't violent. Oh, watch this. Grabbing some food, right? And they said she wasn't paying for it. She was shoplifting. That ain't violent. You see how that goes? That wasn't violent. And you got some bad seed enforcement surround her outside the store. One of them was going in front, already had his boom piece of equipment out. He was itching to shoot anyway. She was trying to get out the way, right? She's trying to get out the way. He shot in front of he shot through the window and unalived her. And she was pregnant. You didn't hear no national outrage at those two Black Americans, did you? Takia was a young Black American woman, adult, who was pregnant. And she lost her life, and her baby, life was lost. Where's the outrage at that? She didn't do anything violent. She was just trying to what? Get some food. Now, who knows exactly what she really did in the store? But they were saying, unless she shoplifted. And if she did do that, that wasn't no violent crime. But you see how they try to make it Renee Good, some little angelic personnel, but she was blocking blatantly ICE duties, try to sit there and run over the ICE agent as he's trying to open the door up. But she's looked at as she's the victim. And Preche, what did he do? Oh my God, he's trying to protect a white woman. Oh, you saw that? You saw that little tactic goes, right? The little disgusting demon cretin. What was that? Oh man, what was that guy name? Oh, got the guy's name. The guy up there, I did a short podcast on that guy too. It was a guy up there, I forgot what it is, in one of those areas up the northeast area, where when he sat there and saw this Black American guy who had some issues going on himself mentally. And how many numbers of Anglo personnel walk around doing all kind of stuff out in the public themselves? How many? Mm-hmm. And they're not shot or put in a chokehold. Oh man, give me a second. Now you got me thinking. Now I got another thing. I think it was Jordan Neely, man. My mind said going blank here. Jordan Neely. Oh yeah, Jordan Neely. Yeah, yeah. Daniel Penny, that little cretin demon, Daniel Penny, when he sat there in New York and grabbed up behind like a little coward, because they were saying that Jordan Neely, they were sitting there saying that hold on for a second. They were saying that Jordan Neely was basically acting a certain way, erratic and stuff like that. And he was going toward this particular white woman. And how dare, oh my goodness, you got to do something about that, right? And Jordan Neely, that little demon cretin, little demon, he sat there and grabbed up Jordan Neely and basically put him in a sleep hold. And with his little cretin little minions, and basically at least one of the other ones was white Hispanic. Oh, you didn't hear too many people talking about him. The other guy, could have been both, but one for sure was white Hispanic, who sat there and helped. Daniel Penny put Jordan Neely to sleep. So Daniel Penny put that chokehold around Jordan Neely's neck, right on the ground, and just kept it there. And even when Jordan Neely, he stopped moving, he still kept the cretin. Jordan Neely still kept that chokehold on him. And then you had either a non-Black people of color and a white Hispanic, or both of them was Hispanic, whatever it is, right? That was helping the cretin, Jordan Neely, the Anglo guy, right? And he gets acquitted. Where's the national outrage of brown out and black out for that, right? Where is that at? Where's all of that? You can go down a whole list of anti-Black American terrorism that's happened toward Black Americans by bad seeds. The list goes on for that. This is not the show for that. That's a different show. Do you understand this insultingness that's happening right now? They have a national brown out, white out for tomorrow on Friday, January 30th, to sit there and protest what ICE has been doing and stuff like that toward talking about Anglo personnel, basically. Because if Renee Good was a Black woman and she was in a lesbian relationship with her manly masculine or a big mouth type of masculine wife, they wouldn't have cared about that. They would have said she should have obeyed then. Renee Good, she's a Black woman, she should have obeyed. That's the problem. They're always playing the victim, right? If Preche was a Black American man and he was trying to protect this Black woman from ICE, They'd be like, oh my goodness, look at them, right? Look at them. That's because they're black. That's why they're just talking like that. You said again, but when white folks do things for white folks, the ones it applies to, right? Quietness. When those Mexicans do things for Mexicans, quietness. You get the point, right? But Black Americans do for Black Americans, I'm talking about the South and Gullibles, it's things about race. And they know it's not enough Black Americans to tell certain type of people, go to effing hell with that game. Right? Other people can do for their own culture and backgrounds. I'll turn like that categories, and it's yay. But Black Americans, they understand foundationally, they are the magnificent history of this country. Without Black Americans, there is no America. Then, it's about race then. So in closing, you have some personnel that be like this. Well, I mean, it's not all people that are for border breakers and stuff like that. I mean, but Black Americans. No, we're not going to play that. We're not going to play deflection tactics and try to put it back on Black America. No, we're not going to do that. Right? See, again, if Renee Good was a Black woman, whole outcome is different. Most people ain't going to care. They'll blame her and say she should have just obeyed orders. Oh, there's some Black Americans know what I'm talking about, right? That ones have been shot. The families know the families have been shot by bad seat officers and stuff like this. No reason. I mean, lighted up with dozens of bullets, unarmed, or say they have a knife in the hand. So many types of bad seeds, and you got this one little Black American with a knife in his hand, and he gets lit up. Do you understand that? George Floyd, right? Minnesota, by Demon Derek Chauvin, and basically, by the way, and there was a couple of other non-Black people of color around that assisted him, that Derek Demon Chauvin, and did nothing to stop him, right? So they were just as guilty and complicit in the unalivement of George Floyd. Was there a national outrage? Excuse me, hold on for a second. Was there a national outrage where there was a type of outrage and stuff like that? Go to hell. We're not talking about some people that, which is good, they were upset about that. No, we're talking about was there outrage to sit there and demand political figures, organizations do something about bad seeds, right? Rid qualified immunity. Was there an outrage to do that? Oh, when you have some Black Americans and I said a couple of handful of Anglos, because it's always been that way, right? Well, we got defund bad seed versions of enforcement. Oh my goodness. Oh, defund the police. Oh my, that's not patriotic. It's not all that. But at the same time, they don't want to weed out the bad seeds of enforcement. You said it goes, right? But at the same time, now it's defund ICE. I mean, I'm like this. It's almost like it's blatant, insulting, right in the faces of Black Americans. Right? With few exceptions, who know the game. It's like this right here again. So defund ICE, right? Not certain sections of ICE to sit there and rid the bad seed. No, they want to defund ICE. Yay. But ridding the blatant bad seed versions of various enforcement for complicit on a daily basis of showing blatant anti-Black American terrorism and numerous videos and examples and stuff like that of that. Well, you can't blame all. That's kindergarten conversation. Well, you can't blame all of ICE. But you see how this game goes. And again, they know it's not enough number of Black Americans who see through these tactics and tell people to go to hell with these games. It's like they look at millions of Black Americans and look at them as like 2-year-olds, right? That's exactly what you got. Quite a number of immigration groups, border breaker, legal immigration personnel, entities, quite a number of Anglos, white adjacent people, numbers of Mexicans, numbers of white Mexicans, numbers of what we call certain types of white Asianists, and one applies to, because there's various types of white Asianists that don't give a damn about darker skinned Asianists, right? There are numbers of white Hispanicism, don't give a damn about numbers of black pigmentation type of Hispanics, right? That goes beyond this language. But something about it's easy to sit there and insult Black Americans collectively in America, because it's, and I'm telling you, 1960s Black Americans, right? There's some gullibles and some naive ones, but it is no comparison of what we have modern day of sectionality of Black Americans that one applies to, that do have some naiveness, that have some gullibility. Because there's no freaking way, if you had a gigantic amount of Black Americans that were on code and the same mentality and understood, as the great John Henry Clark said, that basically Black Americans had no friends, basically. And that means collectively, that don't mean a few individuals. Because to the few individuals, credit given to them who do try to sit there and bring up certain things for Black Americans, right? But the problem is, it's that small. And in closing, collectively, for many, many people within various parts of Americanism, they don't care about Black Americans. Again, if Rene Good and Prete was Black Americans, they will be blamed themselves for being unalived by ICE. It will be told, well, they should have sit there and obeyed law enforcement. Do you see how that goes? And that's what I showed you earlier, when the Black guy, forgot his name right now, not intentionally, you know who he is, may he rest in peace. It's in the early part of the show. You know what, give me a second. I won't do that. I gotta have it still up here in the background. Keith Porter Jr. It was an insult how they tried to include Keith Porter Jr. into that mix of that national brown and whiteout, and try to add him to say basically he was unallowed by ICE because he was protesting mass deportations. I find it extremely piss poor insulting when he had nothing to do with protesting ICE at all. He was shooting into the air as how numbers of Anglos and how numbers of Hispanics, and especially Mexicans, do every year. And no one sits there and tells them why y'all doing that. They don't get outraged at that. But a Black man gets unalived by a non-Black people of color or Anglo guy or Anglo adjacent who lied and said that Porter was sitting there pointing, Keith Porter was pointing his rifle at the ICE agent, and witnesses saying that's an outright lie. Right? He was just shooting there in celebration of a coming new year. And you got people that was blaming him, saying basically you shouldn't be shooting there in the first place. Right? But they say nothing about what Anglo males want to do is shooting in there every year on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, and numbers of Hispanics and certainly numbers of Mexicans. They do it every year themselves. The one it applies to. And you don't hear no outrage at them. But Rene Good did not follow ICE orders, right, to get out the way, right, with her instigating, rough-looking, masculine-type wife, who you can look at and tell, oh, she's definitely not about Black American issues, right? But there was for pro-border break illegal immigrants fighting for immigration groups and stuff like that, entities, right? But she wasn't blamed for her own unalivement because Rene Good wasn't sitting there getting out the way when she was told. Prete, protecting the white woman, that's a whole different topic in itself, right? And then, oh my goodness, he was a nurse, he worked there, as if, what the hell, like that's supposed to mean something? as if there has not been any personnel in some nursing that has shown blatant Black American hatred. Oh, how many Black Americans know that? No, right? It's like Harry Washington. I think, forgive me if I'm saying a wrong name correct. Harry Washington did a book called what? Medical Apartheid. How many medical doctors, including nurses and other people, participated in the complicitness of blatant anti-Black Americanism in the medical industry? Do you see this kind of bullshit? People keep playing games. But then they found out, against a different topic, that he wasn't as he was. That he was a very violent person himself, damaging property himself. Oh, they don't talk about that part, or perhaps they did prior to this. Again, I must truly say in closing, there's definitely an agenda going on right now on this. They see already where we can't sit there and get any traction with just a few little, maybe immigration personnel, a few border breaker illegal immigrant personnel being victims of ICE. The small rarity that have been victims of ICE, by the way. So we can't get traction out of that. But now we can try to use now the white card. And we can say, oh my goodness, so they're not going to say in front, right? But internally, they're saying, we got to do something about this. We can't have ICE shooting white people or white adjacent. That's a no-no. Now, bad seas, none ICE can shoot Black Americans anytime they want. We don't care about that because we have our own agenda, because we want to infiltrate more parts of America with immigration people. We want to put them in high positions more, as we're doing now. And we know Black Americans are so naive, most of them, with few exceptions, they don't even see the insultingness, how we putting various immigration personnel in various high positions. We'll make sure to put various type immigration personnel in various types of political positions. We're putting various parts of tethers and many types of immigration personnel in colleges, right? And we're sliding many of them under some generic minority card, right? Just like the tethers, we're putting many of them under a generic Black card, right? Not Black Americanism, right? We're utilizing certain types of white Asians, right? We're doing all kind of stuff. And we say, we know many of those silly little Negroes don't even know the games we're playing, with few exceptions, just like you see on the image. We know those silly Negroes collectively don't realize we are showing them we know those silly Negroes collectively don't realize we are showing them we care more about border breakers than them. Also, if the two main people were not white who did that to ICE and got unalive were Black Americans, we would blame them for not obeying.
I know nothing. Nothing. I know nothing.
I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.